went home that night after work, and I was out of speed, and so I did a ritual, and I went to sleep. And in the night, I got up, and I don't know, I still don't really know where I got the gun, but I had my father's .44 revolver. And I walked into the bedroom. I was just wearing the black underwear that I wore. When I wore, in rituals and stuff, I wore a pair of black underwear, a black cape and hood and stuff. And I was wearing those underwear. I walked into my parents' bedroom. And I remember I was looking down at them, and I raised the gun up and I pointed it at my father's head. And I squeezed the trigger. And then I immediately raised it to where my mother's head was and squeezed the trigger again. And her head raised up, and I fired a second one into her. I walked out of the room and took a shower, something. And then I walked back into the room and I turned the lights on. And there was blood running out of a hole in my mother's face. And it was on a waterbed. The blood was running out, going down the side of the bed. And I looked at what was before me, and I felt like this big rock had just been taken off my shoulders. And just this great burden had been lifted from me. And I began to laugh. I giggled as hysterically as I could. Just a hideous giggle. And I walked out of the room, I turned the light off, I got dressed, and I went to my friend's house, and I went to sleep.
After Sean did that, he said that it was Ezra within him, and keep in mind that on the witness stand, the Oklahoma prosecution did not want to acknowledge that Satan was a part of this at all.
Really?
That's exactly right. They said, Sean, it was your hand, your finger that pulled the trigger. And John, it was just like the McMartin trial, the longest running trial in the judicial system of the United States. In Huntington Beach, you know, the older lady and her son. Do you know over 280 confessions, depositions of abuse physically related to what is ritualistic abuse? And not once in a 2-year trial has the satanic element ever come up in Huntington Beach. You see what I'm saying? We don't want to recognize this. Now, Sean said it was Ezra within him. After he got into this, he didn't want to be called Sean. He wanted to be called Ezra. He said that was the demon that lived within him. He told me there were days he didn't even know what he did. I believe that's possible under demonic control.
Wow.
I believe in demon possession. So does Scott Peck in his book, The Road Less Traveled, the Harvard professor. But this third clip, Sean has a message for young people, for their parents, to help them to see. And I just pray to God, every person tonight listening will realize here is a young man who knows.
When I was about 10 years old, I had a babysitter who introduced me to the occult in the form of some books and stuff. At 13, I got involved in Dungeons and Dragons, and it became just an obsession with me. Then at 15, I got introduced to a witch, and she took me in as her disciple and taught me for a while and got me involved in Satanism. She had a piece of human skin where she was witness to a human sacrifice. Her first words to me was, well, you can go white magic or you can go black magic. White magic is kind of hypocritical, but if you want power, you go black magic. And so I said, okay, let's go black magic. And she said, the first thing you have to do is pray to Satan. I ate a leg off of a live frog, and the whole class went, and that drew a lot of attention to me. I got caught drinking blood in my history class one day, and that drew a lot of attention and stuff to me. Then I got caught with my satanic Bible and stuff at school, and that really drew a lot of attention. When I first started my rituals and stuff, I began with the pentagram and with, magic circles and stuff, and different talismans in order to keep the demons away. As I got into more of this philosophy of good and evil being interchanged, I began to think of demons as my friends. And I began to see that I was mistreating them by doing this. So I began to invoke demons and ask them to enter my body. I'd say, this is a sanctuary for you, please come in. And they would. I began to get involved in drugs and stuff, especially with speed, because I was going to school, going to work, and doing rituals almost all night long. So I wasn't getting much sleep. I began to take speed to keep going. And I began, to smoke joints and stuff with my classmates at school during lunch, and that would knock me down, and I'd take speed to get back up. Well, I have a scar here where I cut myself in art class, and I didn't know what I was doing then. Oh, wow. And I just told a couple days later that I was cutting myself and licking the blood off my arm, freaking people out. Now, I got that scar there. I remember doing that one. That was whenever I got my satanic name. That was where I sacrificed blood to Satan. As I got deeper and deeper involved, I liked for this stuff to happen to me. I was not in any way, rejecting it. My blackouts, whatever you want to call them, I liked it. I thought it was cool because I felt that I was controlling the demons and that I knew what I was doing. And I wanted to be evil because I thought evil was good. I wanted to have power through Satanism, and I thought that power was good. I wore a lot of black. I wore a black headband all the time. I had satanic jewelry. My fingernail, this fingernail was about that long and filed to a point, and I kept polish on it a lot so that it would be hard. And some of my other friends and stuff would, they would have these 3 fingernails grown long and pointed, or just those 2 for the sign of Satan. I was really into drinking blood and stuff. I'd gotten to the point where I even craved it, where if I had blood in these little bitty vials that I had taken from a clinic that I had worked at. And I used needles and stuff sometimes to draw my own blood because I didn't want the scars to appear. My parents get kind of crazy whenever scars start appearing on your arms and stuff. So I hid it by using needles. I used, got my friend's blood, whatever I could find, and I kept it in these vials, and I kept the vials with me all the time. I got to the point where I didn't care anymore. I didn't care about anybody else or anything else except myself, and I wanted to be powerful. I wanted power. I wanted to control others. I liked it when people were afraid of me, and a lot of people were, and for good reason. I was dangerous. In Satanism, there comes a point that you have to give him everything. Everything.
Now Sean knows Jesus.
It's wonderful.
And now I got a letter from him just 2 or 3 days ago. He has a ministry called Radical Teens for Christ. And he was the only one on Geraldo Rivera's primetime television special that had a 21.9 rating, meaning 50 million people watched that special, who said, Geraldo, we've seen the blood and guts and gore, but let's tell them the answer. It's Jesus Christ.